Welcome to the pod with me, John. This week's fun fact. I put up an advertisement for Tiger Lily seeds on my local community Facebook page, and somebody said they wanted them, and then they never showed up for them. And that person has my address.
That's a little worrying.
Isn't it?
I am Red, and my wee fact this week is I've had a toilet sitting in my living room for the past 5 days.
That is a good one. So anyway, I had this great idea for what we could do for a show, or for a podcast one week, which is we get the script for Dude, Where's My Car?
Okay.
One of us is obviously Chester, and the other one's I can't remember what the other one's called.
I was gonna say as many times as we used to watch that movie when we were like teenagers, I genuinely could not have named the two main characters.
It's something in Chester, I think. I don't know, but I think that would be hilarious to read through that script in a completely Scottish tone.
Hmm.
You know, like, where's your motor?
Where's your motor?
Where's your motor, mate?
Mate, where's your motor?
Where's your motor, mate? I think it'd be pretty funny. And it'd be a lot of fun to record, I think.
Hmm. It seems like a fun thing to do, that kind of stuff, because I've seen that there's a what was it? So do you know what VTubers are?
VTubers?
VTubers, virtual tubers.
Is it like YouTubers, or is it like streamers, or somewhere in between?
Yes. Basically
yes to
both.
all of it.
It's basically somebody that does live. It's pretty much. I think it's pretty much exclusively live streamers, but the people that live stream on YouTube or Twitch, basically, where they use a 2D avatar as a character, rather than showing their real self.
Okay.
And it's usually for the most part, it's usually an anime kind of character. It'll just be a girl. It's oh, I'm a demon girl, and they've got a 2D drawing, and they have these rigs where it basically follows. It moves a bit with their face, and the mouth moves when they talk and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it's a thing that originated in Japan, became big, and then now it's big in the West, and there's a bunch of English VTubers now as well. But it was just it's pretty interesting. I fell down the rabbit hole of it because I can't even remember how. Oh, in fact, I know how. The way I got into it was so weird. I follow the composer Grant Kirkhope, who composed the soundtracks for Banjo-Kazooie and a bunch of rare games on N64.
Right. Okay.
So I follow him on Twitter because
very niche,
I'm a big fan of the music, the games that he's made music for, especially Banjo-Kazooie and that. I'm a big fan, so I follow him. Plus, he's done some social media stuff and that he seems like a pretty funny guy. So I've been following him for a while, and he retweeted a live stream of one of the Japanese VTubers who was playing Banjo-Kazooie for the first time. And I was well, that's one of my favourite games, and that'd be very interesting. And I was I'd be very interested to watch. I feel like watching a Japanese person play a game like that for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a VTuber called Inugami Kurone, basically a dog girl character. And I for the clips I saw, a lot of people take moments for their streams, the Japanese ones, and they'll edit them and subtitle them with translations, so that other people can watch it with it, being I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I watched a bunch of clips for that, and it became that thing where because I watched that, all of a sudden now my YouTube was just constantly getting recommended other clips for her, and then other VTubers as well, and it just became this rabbit hole where I'm just watching all these now because I enjoy it, and it was this is actually kind of good entertainment. And so now I'm doing this rabbit hole where I'm into the whole VTuber thing. And then I started watching all of the English ones recently. And basically, the reason I got into this story is that a bunch of the English VTubers that I watch all like did a thing where they got together and did a reading of The Room for a stream
Right, okay,
where they were
yeah.
all doing all the different
Yeah.
characters, and it was pretty. And, like, that's a hilarious thing. Like, it's
Mhm.
like, here's all these 2D anime girls doing a script reading of The fucking Room things, and it's just such a weird thing, but it's pretty funny. So it's
Mhm.
like it's I don't know if it's a big game, if it's a big thing now, but I feel like over the past like year or so, I've been seeing a lot of people who are doing things like that. Like, obviously things like the B movie is a big meme that people will be like, oh, I'm gonna read the whole
Yeah.
the whole script of the B
Mhm.
movie, like shit like that. But like big meme movies like fucking The Room, B movie, shit like that
Mhm.
is
I
obviously
guess
the kind of thing people do.
everybody just wants to find new ways to enjoy the things they enjoy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But see, out of curiosity, see the VTubers,
Hmm.
see the American or English VTubers. Do they use like anime style, or do they use more like Western style animation?
For what it's still anime style. It's usually
Oh, right,
like
okay.
people that are like big weeps, I think, that are getting it mostly. So like
Mhm.
they're like that. I've seen like a couple of people who use avatars that aren't necessarily wouldn't necessarily be considered like anime style, but
Mhm.
it's like I'd say like 95% of YouTubers you see it'll usually be a 2D character that's like pretty much looks like an anime character.
Mm.
So.
I don't know. It could be. I think it'd be more interesting if like the Western, not to separate or gatekeep or anything like that, but it would be more interesting that if your avatar, when you met them, like say online in battle or whatever, it was a little bit more diverse, where it wasn't just, oh, here's another anime character. It's like, oh well, here's like say some wild Texan cowboy.
Mm.
Like, I don't know, or here's a really polite British guy.
It's
Or whatever. Yeah.
aye. There's been a couple I've seen that have been a bit different. There's a streamer on Twitch called Scara who I don't really watch, but I know of him, and he
Mhm.
like he's used like he's been like streaming for ages, and he's like people know who he is and what he looks like and stuff, but he's like, oh, I want to make a 2D model thing for VTubing because that sounds fun, basically.
Mhm.
And he got one made, and it was rather than being like just a person, it was like this like not even really like humanoid version, but just like a dinosaur basically, like a cutesy kind of cartoon dinosaur. He just made that rather than like an anime kind of person like character, and I was like, well, that's different at least,
I
you
like
know.
that. Yeah,
It's a bit
I
different
like
than
that.
just you know. I mean, the nice thing is they at least sort of try and have their own character where like a lot of the times it's a like a dog girl, a cat girl, a demon. Like it's never
I
just it's not usually just a person. Like it's not usually just a human character and that's it. So they at least try and have. They're all pretty, I'd say, fairly unique looking at least, even if they're all in that style.
What
So
would your 2D character look like?
I have thought about that before, and if I had that, honestly, if I could afford it, I probably would do it because
Mhm.
I think it would be pretty fun to be that. But it's
Yeah.
like a lot of money to get that shit done. Um,
Um, I take it you need to pay, but do you pay someone to animate it, or
I,
what is it?
you have to like basically you'd have to pay somebody to make the model, and then you have to pay somebody else to rig the model with this program where it'll like
Oh, I
do all the right
see.
animations and shit whenever you're like doing stuff on your like camera, so it'll like
Mhm.
follow along with you. And then you also kind of need a good PC to run it, to be able
Like
to
real
run that
technical
and
stuff.
also stream and play
Mhm.
games and stuff. You need like pretty good PC. So like I think altogether you'd be looking at spending at least a few £1,000 to like get one.
Excuse me.
It's a lot. Um,
But then,
but
well, I guess like, well, is it a grand one-off payment, or is it like you pay a
it's
grand
like
and
it's
then?
once you've like paid somebody to make the model and paid somebody to like rig it, that's it, done. Like you know, unless you want to like change your model up a
Updates.
bit or get like or be like, oh, I want my character to have like
Mhm.
a new outfit or something like that, then and even that probably wouldn't cost anywhere near as much as getting the like just full original thing made because it would just be like
Mhm.
simple updates. But yeah, it's basically a one-off thing. Once it's paid, that's it. But
Excuse me.
I would say, I think based on the, the kind of thing I've got going on right now with my like stream and stuff like that, I'd probably just be like a kind of pirate character, probably.
I could see that for you.
Just have full on pirate kind of shit. That'd be pretty fun, I think. I've not seen it. I've not really seen. In fact, no, there is actually one pirate character I've seen that's a VTuber, but it's one of the Japanese ones. But
would you like do the whole R? And would you lean in heavily at the pirate?
I don't know if I could keep that up for like hours of streaming, to be honest. It maybe be something I would maybe do occasionally, but I don't know if I'd be able to keep that kind of shit up for like 4 hours of streaming. That is something that is actually something that is pure kind of insane about like a lot of VTubers is obviously like a lot of the time they're kind of playing characters, but you can only play a character so fucking much. Like there's some of these people streaming for like 4 or 5 hours at a time, like every day. It's like you're not going to be able to keep a character up that much just constantly.
I feel like it would be less of a character and more of just a kind of
it's just
new personality that's kind of happening.
It's like probably just like a kind of slightly exaggerated personality that ain't not that much different. But like I've seen like people like there's some VTubers, or there's one VTuber who it's a lassie that has like she has a very high pitched voice, and
is that the appeal?
I don't know if that is the appeal or no, but like she just has one, and a lot of people are like, I don't know why people they like refuse to believe it's a real voice, and they're like people constantly are like think she's faking it, but then I'm just like, would you be able to fake a voice for hours on end like that? That would hurt you. That would just not. Like you would not be able to do that for hours on end every day.
I guess it depends, like, if it was, like, easier, or if it was really easy for you to do it, maybe. Like, maybe our voice isn't that high, but it's still quite high.
I know, but...
I don't know.
I don't know. It seems like an odd thing. It would seem like an odd thing to me, to fake, like, I'm gonna fake a voice. Like, why? What would be the point in that? Unless it's, like... I don't know, like, I feel like having a high-pitched voice isn't so something that's really interesting, I don't think.
I was going to say, like, why would you even, like, comment on it? Like, oh, that voice is fake. You're watching somebody stream, like, again, like, relax. What difference, if their voice is high or... Yeah.
It's such a weird thing.
It could be a mic thing, like a voice changer.
Suppose.
This is the thing, like, there's many different ways in which you can manipulate your audience in a stream. I've seen people, like, with audio changers or anything really, like, you shouldn't, I think it's true, you shouldn't really believe everything you see on the internet.
That's true.
Even if it's just a stream, like, there will be a lot of people that just do a stream at face value, but there'll be people out there that kind of curate their streams in a way for a really particular audience, I guess.
I do love when people find live streamers who like have been faking something for like ages and then like they get caught because they're just a fucking idiot and then they're fucked. There was a guy I don't remember the guy's name, but there was a guy years ago who was faking an illness and that and that he needed to be in a wheelchair. So like every stream he would sit in a wheelchair and like just play games and his girlfriend would be with him, so it was like they were both in on it. And then randomly one stream he just accidentally stood up. And then like immediately like panicked and was like, oh, and pretended to like fall on the ground and all that, and it's like, mate, you've been fucking caught. Like you've just been sitting here for months talking about how you're wheelchair bound and you can't walk and you've got this like illness and all this, and now you've just like randomly just stood up in front of a live audience of like hundreds of people. Like you're snibbed. You're just fucked.
That's what an awful thing to like.
I know. It's insane. I can't believe the amount of stories I see of people that are like fake having like things like cancer and that to try and get like people to donate money to them and all that. And I'm just like, how can you live with yourself like faking something like that? It's actually insane.
I always think that these types of people obviously have never like been devastated by it in any way, like either by a family member or personally, and that's why it is so easy for them to lie about it, because they're like, they just don't care about it. That's like the God's honest truth. That's why they use it to get, because they care more about the money that it can give them. You know,
that's
pieces
insane,
of trash.
Man.
Pieces of trash.
Absolute horrendous people.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute garbage people. Scum of the earth.
Like you.
Okay. What have I done?
I'm in a bad mood, and it's everyone else's problem now.
That's how it be.
That's how it be. No, I think that could be something worth talking about. It's like bad days. You know, everybody has bad days.
It's true.
I've had bad days. Sure you've had bad days.
Yeah, days where just everything seems to know why work for you.
And go wrong.
No. And I had a day like that a few weeks ago where just every single thing I tried to do just wouldn't work properly, and I was losing my shit. It was just like, I'll try and do this thing, that doesn't want to work, try and do this thing, that doesn't want to work either. And I was just losing my mind, like, what the fuck is going on? It's like every single thing I try and do is just breaking or just refusing to work properly.
It's just so frustrating.
I
think when you start getting into that headspace and the ball kind of starts rolling, it's just so frustrating. You just kind of wind yourself up.
Aye, and that's the thing. It just becomes that thing where as soon as it starts rolling like that, and then every time something else goes wrong, you're just like, oh no, this, and it just like it just like multiplies the anger and the frustration.
When it rains, it pours.
And even something so small after that you probably wouldn't normally be that bothered by is just, oh no, this isn't one. Oh, it's fucking perfect.
That is the thing. It's so true. Like, it'll never be something that's really something big that's got you annoyed. It'll be something so tiny. It'll be just so tiny. It breaks the camel's back.
So many small things just piling up, and you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
They're everywhere. All the small things.
All the small things. Who is that? Is that Sum 41? I don't remember who sings that or what band that is.
Please remove yourself from this podcast.
I don't know. They're all the same. All the bands, Sum 41 and all the other bands that sound like that, they're all the same to me. Like the fucking bands that look like high school kids and they sound like oi 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 like that. It's just they're all the same to me.
They're people who write about having bad days.
I cannot differentiate them all, to be honest.
It's Weezer. Weezer. Oh, small thing. It's not Weezer. That was a bamboozle. It was Blink-182.
See, I would just believe that. Blink-182, Sum 41, Weezer is just the same band.
I have to say, like, Blink-182's best nasally voice is obviously "And I Miss You," and it's "Where are you?
Where are you?"
It's funny, right? Like, people used to listen to that song and take it seriously, and then now, maybe about 10 years later, people listen to it and laugh.
It's just funny sounding.
Where are you?
Where are you?
So nasally. I never understood that. Just a pure screechy whine.
Oh,
so you really came to the podcast today and said, fuck these progressive rock, emotional rock people. I don't give a fuck about them. Your Blink 41s or your Sum 182s. I don't want anything to do with them.
I never really listened to the bands that much, and they just sound so similar to me. So I'm just like, I don't know what is what. Whenever I hear one of their songs, I always forget what one's done what. It's just fucking.
I mean, I guess because I think that they were all around at the same time. So I've heard a lot of their songs like together. But if you never really were into their songs, then they all kind of sound the same. I get that.
I mean, I'm sure it's similar for other people. There's probably hundreds of people that don't really listen to metal, and they would hear like a metal song and they wouldn't know what band it was. They would be like, "Oh, is that Metallica?" And you'd be like, "No, It's this other
It's always
band.
They always guess Metallica.
Aye, people always that's the way they go to because that's like probably the most like
Aye.
well-known like metal band.
I don't even think like, well, compared to some of the bands that Metallica gets called, like Metallica's really tame. Like you could play something
True,
like Dream Theater or something, and you're like, is that Metallica? What?
aye,
No.
it's a strange thing,
Mhm.
but you know, I get it. If you don't listen to that kind of music, you're gonna just not really know. You're not gonna hear the difference really.
No. Fuck punk. Or fuck whatever it was. Fuck the punk rock revolution, obviously.
Mm.
See
Oh,
these dogs. Oh,
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, just because of the dogs, I've had to like come into the living room and just sit. And so they're just constantly at me because it's near dinner time and they know it. And they
Mm.
know that the minute obviously like we stop, put that in. I want people to hear what I have to put up with. What actually telling me? I know.
Is that right? Aye.
I know. Soon. They're so pesky. Like they're so pushy. Like they demand their schedule be moved ahead.
Mm.
So like we'll set like dinner for 5 and then walks, and then they're like, "So I know what? We're just going to push dinner to 4. We're going to push walks to 4:01, and you're going to just stop whatever it is you're doing."
No, they dogs have no patience. They're just like, this is getting done, and I'm gonna just annoy the fuck out of you until it is done.
It's not even annoying. It's just that well, it is annoying, but it's like their way of communicating. They're
Right.
like, right, if I stone here, if I nudge here, if I give we a rose here,
Mhm.
it's so pesky. Sorry, you were going to say something
I genuinely can't remember what I was gonna say, and it's bothering me now.
there.
It's pissed me off. I hate when I do that.
That is
Oh,
so typical.
what the fuck was I gonna say? Mm.
It sounded like a reclamation when you heard like it was something that you'd forgot about and it came into your head a little.
What were we saying? What were we saying before
I think. Oh, I was talking about the podcast and how I'd said someday and she'll let me watch it with the backstage gossip. And then I said it was just like gossip for them, and they're like, oh, basically that Lisa's a muppet. Um, you know, why are you annoyed at that? Your last words were muppet, I think.
that? I can't remind. I'm losing it. Losing my marbles. Can't remember. God damn
Have
it.
you eaten today?
I have not.
I'm just saying.
I woke up 45 minutes ago, John.
Jesus Christ. I like that you spend your mornings with me when I wait.
Pretty much. I mean,
when
I
record.
actually slept just like utter shit the day. I went to bed. I think I lay there for about 2 hours before I fell asleep. And then I woke up about 4 hours later, needing to use the toilet. Went to use the toilet, came back to bed. And then I think I lay there for like another like 90 minutes before I fell asleep again. And then I think I just basically slept, woke up for like the next couple of hours. Like I would sleep for like 45 minutes and then I'd wake up for a bit and then I'd fall back asleep and that was it until about 4 o'clock and then I woke up and was like, I need to get up. So I slept like shit. I don't know what keeps me up. Nothing.
What keeps you up?
Nothing. I don't know what it is. I literally will lie there for like an hour and a half. Just no thinking anything. No, I'm not watching anything. I'm not thinking anything. I'm just lying there trying to fall asleep, and I feel tired, but my body's just like nah. I
Do you
don't
think
know.
you're astral projecting or something?
I've no fucking idea. It bothers me, man. I struggle so much to just fall asleep, and I don't know why.
I've always been quite lucky. When I go to sleep, I can usually fairly fall asleep within the first couple of minutes.
It's rare. It's rare that I'll fall asleep like that fast when I hit the pillow. Unless I'm just so fucking tired that I can barely keep my eyes open.
Do you know what I think's maybe routine? Routine's really good for it. Like if you've in a routine with your body, and your body knows, okay, now it's time for sleep because I'm up tomorrow.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
I mean, I bet like I've been going to sleep at the same time ish for like months and months now. So I don't know why my
I think
body's not
it's
used to it.
it's more than just like what time you go to bed. It's like what do you do before bed? You know, like if you think of like a moving car. You know, a car starts and it stops, and it kind of like slowly starts and it slowly stops. It doesn't go from like 0 to 100 and then suddenly 100 to 0. You know.
Hmm. And usually, I mean, I'd say usually most nights I'm sitting on my computer. For the last couple of hours before I go to bed, I'm usually sitting on my computer just either browsing Reddit or watching Twitch or YouTube clips or something. And I'll just sit there, and then I'll just sit there until I start feeling really tired. And I'm like, right, ran out of stuff to watch really, and I'm feeling tired. And it's about that time, so I'll head to bed, and then I'll go and lie in bed, and then I'll just lie there for like 2 hours. Even though I felt tired and was like, oh, I should get to sleep. I feel tired, and I'll just lie there. As soon as I lie down, my body's like, right, wide awake. And I'm just like, oh, fuck off. God damn it.
I think I would really struggle if that was like if that happened near to me. Because obviously, like everybody gets days where they can't fall asleep and they're like really tired and stuff. But I've heard from like a few people that I know that like they've either had insomnia or like yourself, like they just find it really difficult to fall asleep and they can't explain it.
Hmm.
It's just something that happens, and that's probably one of my biggest nightmares because I cherish my sleep. I really do. I love it. I feel like Odin.
I love
Going
a
into
good
the
sleep.
Odin sleep, and you're all snuggly and you're just. It's good.
I do wonder if it's my mattress, because I've had that mattress for. I've honestly probably had this mattress for like 15 years. Like genuinely, it's been forever. My mom and dad bought this mattress for me when I was when I was a teenager, still living there, and I've been using that same mattress since. And I'm just like, it's probably a time where I probably should get a new one at this point. Like that's probably longer than a mattress is supposed to last, and it's still fine. Like it's not like got holes in it or like none of the springs are like broken or anything like that in it. But it's just probably like it's just gotten like probably got like flattened enough and just so many years of use, and it's just probably no. I don't know. Maybe my body doesn't find it as comfy or something as it used to, but.
And well, you're older now.
Aye.
You should definitely treat yourself like a mattress.
I mean, if the other things you should splurge a bit of money on, it's probably like a mattress is probably one of them that you should
definitely.
Like. You need to get a good one.
And that's why we're in partnership with any number of one of those mattresses that you can get delivered to your door. Here is our code, blah blah blah.
I wish, man. The sponsors.
I would love a sponsor.
Same. Same.
Even if it was like I don't know, like I'm a sucker for like a free bit of shite, like a free package. You know, like if somebody gives me something that's free, I will rave about it for the rest of my life, just because I got it for free. It could be complete shit, and nobody could want it, but because I got it for free, I'll love it.
Aye, I mean, that's saying. I mean, if it is shite and it's got something wrong with it, you can kind of excuse it by, well, it was free, so you know.
I remember like we were out in Edinburgh once, and we were like looking for a place to go and eat, and there was this place, and it was like just opening up, and they were like giving out free breakfasts, and it was a fairly standard breakfast, but that breakfast is like a solid foundation of my relationship because it was one of our first dates, and I got to pay for it because it was free.
What a statement. I got to pay for it because it was free. So you didn't date, so you didn't fucking pay for it then?
Well, I mean, like, I didn't let on that we were, I had 2 vouchers on my phone for a free breakfast.
Oh, that reminded me of something. Did you? I seen this. I don't know I can't remember if it was on Twitter or Reddit or what, but I saw this post where some lassie was fucking raging that she basically, I think it was like Tinder or something, on her
Right.
profile, she had something like, I think it was something along the lines of like, if you can beat me in pool, I'll buy you a drink or something like
Mhm.
that. And so apparently some guy messaged her and was like talking to her, and he was like, "Oh, do you want to have that game of pool and all this?" And she was like, "When?" and all that, and they like made a date for it. And then like he came out, he brought his own pool cue. Like he was fucking there to game, right? I think she was probably like kind of decent at maybe pool, but she wasn't like,
Mhm.
you know. But he's like
I just
brought his in pool cue, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And like just
he's a shark.
aye, and he like just destroyed her. Like I think she said like she didn't get to hit a ball once. He just completely beat her, and then she
Wow.
had to buy him a drink. And then after the drink, he left. He was like, "I have to go," and she was she was raging about it. She was put she was like not like she was like genuinely angry about it and like posting about it like he was like a selfish arsehole for doing that. And
Why?
everybody was roasting her for it, be like, "You're the one that put up the challenge. You can't sit there and be like, beat me at pool and I'll buy you a drink." And then if somebody takes you up on it and beats you, you can't be then upset about it. Like,
You got what you asked for.
aye, it's
You
like,
got what you asked for.
like the guy's not in the wrong at all.
I mean, like, what did she think would happen? Like,
Aye,
after she had bought the drink, like, he would just be like, "Well, I guess we're married now, so where are we living?" You know, that's not going to happen.
it's so funny.
I mean, like, if you were like insanely good at pool, and you seen an advert, and you were like, "Well, that bar's just down the road for me," and you're like, "I could win a free pint."
Mm-hmm.
Of course you would.
So,
She was the silly one for obviously thinking that she was the best person ever in pool.
aye, it's somebody that's way overconfident.
hmm And the people are the worst.
It's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. So what are we doing this Friday?
I don't know. Is there a specific thing you want to say?
Let's do the real life Mario Party. Let's play real life Mario Party.
I feel like we would need a lot more time to get that ready to go. Would we know?
I
Like
can.
to decide on all the games that we would have to do it in, and like what board are we going to use, and how's it all going to work?
Well, I think we should limit the games to like the Switch, so that we
Okay,
don't have to like unplug stuff, plug all that kind of stuff.
right.
And I think there's a lot more games on the Switch. Like, for instance, like a battle mini game, we could do one of the WarioWare ones, where it's like
Mm,
an elimination.
true,
I
true,
don't
true.
know. I think we could. I think we could easily set it up. Give me a couple of those, and I'll have the majority of it fixed.
All right. I mean, I'd be up for doing that if you're
hmm
getting go. Have it all ready
I'd
to
be up
go.
for it. Use a game board. I've got a couple of game boards.
Hmm. We can try
Definitely.
that. Right.
hmm
See how it
I would
goes.
love that. I think it would be hilarious.
I agree. It'd be pretty fun. I've thought about have you ever seen the game show Taskmaster?
hmm I quite like that show.
I've always thought it would be a very fun thing to do, like video game Taskmaster thing. Getting
hmm
people to do weird challenges in games and seeing like and putting them up against each other, like just things you would think about. One thing would be like that I thought about would be like get a Zelda game, and each person you have to go and attack a chicken until they all start coming after you, and you just have to survive as long as possible. Like maybe you put them down to
That
like
is a
one
good
heart
one.
or something like that, so they can only take a couple of hits, and you just have to try and live
hmm
as long as possible dodging the chickens, and then whoever gets the best time wins. Just like shit like that, and having like
That's
that
quite
as like
good.
tasks, and have people go against each other.
I think like we should definitely start doing that at yours because with all the games that we've got collectively,
Aye.
we could, we could do like really because I was thinking like you could do challenges obviously in Halo Forge where like without switching to the monitor, like
Mm.
put this item here.
And we had all the forge maps for years ago that there were all the like challenge things, like if you're
hmm
jumping off ramps with warthogs and try to land on platforms and shit like that. We had all the maps that we used to download and play. That were a lot of fun. That was kind
You
of
could
like
also,
very similar.
I was thinking there you could make like you could do like a Mario Kart in like Forge, like if you make a really big racetrack.
I think I did that once in Forge. I'm pretty sure I made like a racetrack in it once. It wasn't the best. It wasn't anything great, but I think I did make one once.
I think that'd be like quite fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Forge and the new Halo and Halo Infinite will be good.
I really do. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of not really holding out much hope for Halo. Did Trankino say that it was like the Forge was coming out like 6 months after the game?
There's some things that aren't going to be on the game immediately, which I'm just like, my immediate thought for that is like, well, it's not finished then. It's like that's just the thing nowadays. People are just like, I just released this game. I bought all these mods that were saying we were going to make for it aren't ready yet. I just released just release half the game. We'll have the other stuff later. Like, just
people are so impatient. Like, I would rather wait until the game was completely cohesive and finished than they just release like parts yet.
Nowadays they're just like, release now, fix later.
I hate that. It's so lazy.
That annoys me. It bothers me as well. It's that classic thing, Shigeru Miyamoto quote, where he says, "An unfinished game is bad forever, but a delayed game is eventually good."
I totally agree with that. Yeah,
and that's just what it is. I mean,
the worst it is, well, it's the people, the consumers, the gamers, they're the ones that have kind of made this shift where they're very happy to pay for the game in installments or in parts or to get more game later, if that makes sense. Which is kind of shit.
I think a lot of game companies took advantage of that kind of like episodic release thing, where it made sense for games like The Walking Dead because it's an entirely story-based game, and it's like an episode at a time, and it leaves you on a cliffhanger, and you're like, oh, I wonder what happens next, and that works for that kind of game. But then other companies were just like, let's just do episodic releases for just any kind of game. And it's like it doesn't make sense to do it in these kind of games. It's not a game that's entirely like just all story and stuff. Like,
I hated that.
It's so stupid.
It was where they would have like story time Game of Thrones or shit like that, where it's like, as you say, they're literally only doing the game because it was popular and it was a moneymaker and people were buying it. Shit. Just throwing shit in the marketplace and like people are lapping it up.
No, that's all it is. It's just something becomes some kind of genre or a style of thing becomes popular, and then everybody's just like, oh well, this thing is also popular. Let's slap them together. That'll make money. Even if it doesn't work or doesn't make any sense, and nobody asks for it, we'll just do it because we can make money off it. And it's not about thinking it's a good idea. It's just about it'll make money, and then it ends up being some shite.
What do you think is a classic game for you that you think that, or you wish they would make more games like?
Classic game.
You know, where it's because like they don't make games anymore like they used to, and I'm aware how old I sound saying that statement, but they don't. So, what do you think, or what's a classic game for you that you wish would get made these days? Like, we just kind of blow all the other shit at the water.
Honestly, this is kind of a weird thing because it's not really the reasoning behind it isn't really what you're saying, but I really wish there were more monster collecting type games that are like Pokemon. Mostly because I would want it to happen so that the Game Freak would get a bit up the arse about, oh, maybe we should put a bit better effort into the games that we're making. Because I mean, in effect, as much as I love Pokemon and I do enjoy the new games that come out, there is a clear like decline in quality.
Yeah.
Like when you look at the peak of the Pokemon games, to me, was Gen 4 and Gen 5, where the amount of content in those games, just the amount of things you could do in those games, the amount of stuff that was in them, was kind of insane. And since then, since they moved to like 3D, it's clearly been like a decline of like, we don't really know how to do 3D, so we're just like doing the bare
Winging
minimum.
it.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, you had two options. One, you didn't have to go 3D. You could have stayed 2D if that's the only way you know how to make the games. And two,
Mhm.
if you were going to have to go 3D, why the fuck did you not hire people, like new people that actually knew how to do that shit, rather than
Exactly.
forcing
Yeah.
people who've been rather than forcing your designers who have been doing 2D stuff for like the past 15 years, all of a sudden telling them, right, you have to do 3D modeling and that now, when they don't know what they're doing. And then because of that, it doesn't look great, and like the game's got like barely any content in it.
Yeah, that's a bad move on Pokemon's part
It's
or
just,
Game Freak's part. Yeah.
it makes no sense to me that Pokemon, and I know this is the thing, like Pokemon is the biggest selling franchise of anything in the world.
Mhm.
It makes more money than Mickey Mouse. It makes more money than fucking anything in the
Yep.
world, in any kind of franchise in the world. And yet somehow their games that they come out with on the Switch and stuff are like subpar in terms of the way they look and the way they run and the amount of like content and stuff they have. And it's just like, and I don't get it. And I want to say, obviously it's on, Game Freak are at fault in the sense that they're the one making them. But I feel like they're not at fault in a ways because I don't know who decides on like how much money they're allowed to spend on games, or how much like new staff they're allowed to hire to work on games. I don't know if they have to go through the Pokemon company to decide that or what it is, but it just makes
Mhm.
no sense to me that a franchise that makes as much money as Pokemon isn't able to churn out like insanely high quality games that have clearly like had a lot of
Yeah,
work put into them and stuff.
I completely agree. It's just, like with their revenue and like with like all the creative assets that they've got, they really don't have any excuse not to be delivering like games that absolutely shatter the market
hmm
instead of games that I guess that are kind of just only the fans are really buying.
And I've got some optimism for the new games that are coming out because they
Mhm.
were smart enough to be like, right, people want a Diamond and Pearl remake, but also we're working on this new thing. Rather than fucking ourselves or by forcing ourselves to work on both of these games at once, we'll just do the smart thing, give the remakes to another game company and say make these remakes for us while we work on the new thing that we're doing, which
Mhm.
is smart because then they're no because
Smart,
in
yeah.
the past they've because there was a time where from Gen 6 up to like Gen 8 they were releasing basically a new Pokemon game like every year, and it's like that's not a game you can release every year because the amount of new shit you're supposed. It's not like FIFA
I
where you can just like tweak a few things and that's it.
rehash it.
Like you can't do that. Pokemon's a game that should be like a multiple year process of making, like it used to
Yeah.
be. But they were like, there was a time where they were like, all right, new Pokemon game every year was coming out, and it's like you are fucking burning yourselves out with that shit. So it's good
Mhm.
that you know, that they're doing this. So,
The fans as well. You like you'll just burn out the fans. Like they're
mm-hmm,
just going to get tired of seeing, you know,
aye. So
it,
like,
does- it, the impact of it isn't as good as it was if it was spaced out, as
aye.
you say, every few years.
But the Diamond and Pearl remakes, they look fine. They look like
Mhm.
they're just remakes. They're like basically the original games, but they look, updated graphics, and maybe they've got some new stuff in them. So that'll be
Mhm.
fun. But then
That's what the fans want.
the
Yeah.
big new game that Game Freak are actually working on, Legends Arceus, looks kinda insane. It's a full like world that you explore, open world. You fucking they've actually changed up the battle mechanics a bit, which is like in a major way. That's like
Mhm.
probably the biggest thing they've changed to the battle mechanics since like the games first fucking came out. And like there's just a lot of stuff that they showed that looks really cool. And it's like, well, they've actually like done a lot of stuff. It's just I guess we'll see when it comes out how good it is going to be. But I'm optimistic about it. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping this is going to be a good turn for them. Or this
An
game's going
open
to be
world,
amazing.
yeah, an open world Pokemon game does sound really fun.
hmm So I'm
Almost,
hopeful.
yeah. I mean, you say that, but you've just literally, ripped the back half Game Freak and Pokemon for the last half an hour.
Aye.
You know, I don't know who you hate more, Pokemon or punk rock.
It comes it comes from a place of love. I mean, I'm what I've said is true. Where there has been a clear decline in quality, I still have it. I still enjoyed Pokemon Sword and Shield and like Ultra Sun and Moon. The last couple of big games that came out, I still enjoyed playing them, and I'll still probably go back and play through them again occasionally when I want to. But there's like there is a clear the decline in quality. Like you can't deny it.
To be fair, the last Pokemon game I played was probably like Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, in fact, no, that what was it? What was the one we were playing? Was it Black and White?
Oh, we were fucking a bit with that online one for a while. Well, the one that we were running about in was Platinum.
Platinum. That was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that.
That's what the Diamond and Pearl remakes are. Well, they're not based on Platinum, but Platinum, it was Diamond and Pearl, and then Platinum was like the third game in that gen that was like the yellow, basically, of that. So the Diamond and Pearl remakes are basically remakes of that game. Pretty much.
I see.
So they'll be coming out in a couple of months. I'll play the shit out of that until the Legends Arceus game comes out in January.
Sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, January's going to be busy because that's coming out and then Elden Ring's coming out as well. So fucking going to be hard.
I really
to pick
can't wait
between
for
the
Elden
two.
Ring.
I can't either. Watching that trailer, man, I'm just like, oh, look at all these things that are going to kill me. I can't wait to play it, man. It looks so good. Oh,
what are you having for dinner, mate?
I've no idea. I've not eaten yet, so like what I'm about to go and eat is probably going to be like a lunch kind of food, and then I'll probably have dinner later on. So I've no clue right now, but I'll
I don't know what I'm having. I think I'm having pork belly and rice.
Ooh.
I'm awfully good to myself.
Sounds pretty good.
But I better go and feed these puppies.
Yeah.
Is it time for dinner, Lenny?
Yep.
Is it time for dinner? Are you going to tell me? Are you telling me? Are you telling me it's time? She's telling me it's time for dinner.
She's wanting that. She's wanting food.
She's wanting the luncheons. Eh? Oh, let's go get you some kibble. Come on then. Well, I shall see you Friday.
Alright, man. See you later. Have a good evening.
Thanks for everybody for listening.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week.
Yes.
Right.
We'll see them next week. Right. Bye.
Bye.